to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilio. An air quality alert is in effect. Cloudy skies clear out tonight with a low of 60, then Thursday sunshine with a high of 78. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities, but don't miss out on the crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and more. Mavericks is located on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Check them out at mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday evening with apparently very poor air quality. That's why I wouldn't know. I don't go outside ever anyway. So it's as far as I know, it's there's stuff going on outside, I guess. So first of all, we got some serious business to get to before we get to our guest tonight. Meanwhile, in Eden Prairie, it is somebody's birthday today, Adam. And I just, my goodness, huh? I mean, look at you. What are you, 25 now or something like that? What's going on over there?
I'm 19 again. How about that? No, I am officially, the way I looked at it as a child, I am officially decrepit. I am 45, so I'm halfway to 90. Jesus. So no, I'm an old ass man today, as they would say.
Well, you know, I guess, you know, I never really thought about it. Let's be perfectly honest. I never really thought about, you know, you being born. I just kind of thought you just kind of existed one day. So the fact that you know, there's a birthday attached to that, I guess that's great.
I guess I'm the Golgothan demon from the movie Dogma.
So, okay. So here we go. Obviously you didn't really have a chance to celebrate today because you've been at the station literally all day.
Yeah. The 11 hours by the time we wrap up here.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, we don't care how long, we don't care about the hours. We just want, you know, just
Chad might.
Well, he preferred to be under 11.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, I do have like celebration plans this weekend or something, or what?
You know, I haven't really thought about it because in reality, I probably haven't actually celebrated a birthday since I was 13 because I had band camp throughout high school and stuff, and that always fell over my birthday. Sure. And then after that, it was work. So I don't think I've really celebrated one since I was about 13. But I think this weekend I'm going to order a pizza and watch SummerSlam and call it a celebration. All right. Well, you know, let me know if you want to go back to band camp and we can, you know, just to kind of relive the old time. What did you play in band camp? I played drums because I can't read music. Drums? I was a drummer. Yeah. Oh, wow. Very nice. I have very little rhythm. Can't read music, but good enough to be you know how in marching bands, the bass drums go from the little one to the big one. And so they get that tonal sound. I was always the big one and I've always been fat. So looking over the top of the bass drum was always kind of an issue. But no, I played bass drum and then drum sets and pep band and all that other stuff.
Can you guess what instrument I played?
If you were actually in band, which I doubt you were, you would either be, I believe, someone playing the trumpet or someone playing a saxophone, just from your personality.
What does that mean? what kind of personality does a trumpet player have?
Very controlling.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, no, that's I had
and saxophone players think they're too cool for school.
Yeah, no, that's about right. What about trombone players? What are they like?
They're usually really fun.
Were
you a trombonist?
Are they fun because they know 7 positions?
Yes.
Thank you. So
I was hoping someone else knew that joke.
And I was a trombonist.
Yes.
And I played in marching band, concert band, jazz band. I played in a orchestra later. So for someone like you who thought I did not do it at all, I actually did it quite a bit.
Wow, you do not represent the band nerd like I do, still to this day.
Chuck says, my son does bass trombone in jazz band. I played bass trombone. So yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
I still have my concert horn. It's a very nice one. It was a Bach Stradivarius. So
do you ever break it out and play any?
Oh gosh. I've thought about getting it refurbished. There's been times over the course of the last 15 years that I've looked into concert bands in the area that I can maybe join, but then I realize I have no time to do anything because we got this fun little thing going for us right now. So
this little show that's a blast, and tonight's essentially to me a huge blast.
Well, let's get to it then, because I think our guest is like, am I going to be on it tonight? And the answer is no. You just keep coming on until we finally get to you. Chris Gugliotti is a freelance illustrator and comic book artist from Connecticut. He's worked on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Wildstorm, as well as Teen Titans Go, He-Man, and Wonder Woman for DC Comics. I don't know if any of you ever heard of DC Comics. He created his own webcomic, Playing Dead, about himself and his dog, which was morphed into a comic book adventure series. When he's not doing that, he is helping wayward monsters find homes with his watercolor painting series, Nibbles, also known as the National Institute for the Betterment of Beastly Little Entities. We have Chris on with us tonight because we're going to be talking about a project that he is working on with the writer, Explorer's Guide to Monstrous Cryptid Creatures. Chris, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Hey, man. And Adam, thank you for staying late.
You're quite welcome. I wouldn't miss this one because I love cryptids and I'm a huge DC Comics fan.
You are literally the first person to ever thank him for anything at the station. So, that's I don't know what your game is. I don't know what your angle is, but I don't like it. Okay.
Automatically my favorite guest. Right?
Yes. Also, you were talking about you were the band geeks. I was the art geeks. I was the one, drawing Spider-Man in my notebooks.
Oh, I bet. And I bet you're doing it at a very high level very early on, and people are probably like, oh my gosh, and did you get the people then who tried because they were jealous of your abilities that they would try to do it and it was nowhere near as good as what you were doing?
I would always get hey, could you draw that on mine? I'd be like, okay, I guess, whatever. Anything like, just don't take my lunch money.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Don't beat me up. We're a nerd's a nerd, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you're an art or a band nerd. They will still find us, and then they'll still have something to complain about and make fun about. The sad thing for me, I went to Catholic school when I was a grade
13 years.
Oh, I only went for 8. But and then I didn't do any school after 8th grade. No, I'm just kidding. But I grew very quickly, and my parents did not believe in getting new clothes when you grow. So I had pants that the ankle line would keep going up on my pants because they were too small for me. And people would be like, "Where's the flood?" And it took me like months to understand what they're talking about. I'm looking around like there's no water on the ground whatsoever. And it's finally, I think someone's like, hey, your pants are so high, buddy. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
See, I was the opposite. Like I'm 5'6". All right, I've been a hobbit my entire life. I'm still the tallest member of my family. So and I'm a husky gentleman. So it would be my passive aggressive grandmother who would have to hem my pants because the legs were too long. But here, you'll fit into these now. I'd be like, thanks, Grandma. You know, it's not gonna turn into a complex I'll have the rest of my life.
No, it's funny how none of this stuff affects our lives whatsoever.
Nope.
The constant ripping and just walking down a hallway and people are coming at you and being rude and stuff. It really doesn't affect you at all. The bullying,
not at all.
no.
I do not stay up late at night sometimes reliving things from high school.
It never comes back ever, right? It
never like 1,000 different scenarios how it could have been better if you had just said that. You know?
Right, or how many more black eyes you'd get if you just said that. You know, I mean, there's that too. Adam, were you picked on? I mean, you're picked on now, but were you picked on as in going to school and whatnot?
I'm very much in Chris's boat with the hemmed pants because I'm only 5'6" and I'm a large individual, so that's why I'm 45 and I wear jorts. So I don't have to worry about the hemmed pants looking like out of date bell bottoms.
I'm a cargo short guy. I love the pockets.
Oh, I miss pockets. That's why I wear hoodies all the time too.
Oh yeah, I was one of those kids that would like pick up anything off the ground because it's all treasure.
Oh yeah, it's going to be.
And my mother would be like doing the wash and like change and pretty rocks and weird stuff.
Hypodermic needles, and it's like, why do you have this? Like, I found it on the ground.
Treasure.
Well, you two are weird. And so am I. So who am I kidding? So, okay, let's talk a little bit about cryptids here. Can you fill us in here what you're doing with Explorer's Guide to Monstrous Cryptid Creatures? Because I looked at your Kickstarter page, and it's pretty awesome, actually. And I want to kind of let listeners know what you're doing right now.
Okay. Even I have to look at the titles because the Explorer's Guide to the Monstrous Cryptid Creatures of the United States. It stemmed from I was working with my partner in this, the writer. We were working on like a board game type thing for Kickstarter, and it was all about monsters. And we wanted to like throw in some like you got the classic Universal, but we wanted to throw in some of the like. I was just kind of like, let's do some cryptids. Let's do some Mothmans. Let's do some. Come on. People love the Mothman. So it stemmed from that, and I had done enough, and so we were thinking like, okay, this art's pretty cool, and I've been drawing like monsters forever, and that's like my go-to. Which is weird. I drew a Wonder Woman comic, so it was just like to be like, what if Wonder Woman was, I don't know, a giant kaiju with flaming breath? Is that a thing we can do? They're like, no, please stay on model. All right, but it stemmed from that, and we took that, and we were like, wouldn't it be cool to do like one of those old I forgot to bring it. I got like a Reader's Digest, like Birds of North America.
Yes.
Do something like that. But with cryptids, so we were like, okay, we started with we'll start with America, 50 states. All right, we're gonna do 50 states, one per, and it'd be cool. We got we got one page, that I did a full illustration of the cryptid, my interpretation of it, because there's several there's a lot of it like you got, speaking of DC Comics, you got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, you got if the cryptid is like Mothman, Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, those are like those are the ones those are the guys that put butts in seats, Absolutely. So we knew we were doing that, and then there's you got let's see, what are the other like Champy up in Lake Champlain. Let's see. Oh, the Wendigo. You guys got the Wendigo.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm trying to think of all the other ones, but like that was the start of it. And so as we were coming up with I was coming up with ideas, I was researching cryptids, and it was just great to see like how many there are. Like I knew, I'm into that stuff. So I knew a bunch of them. I'm like, okay, we got to do this one. We got to do that one. We got to do that. But like, just to do in the deep diving, like learning how many cryptids each state has.
Right.
So So, and in doing it, like there were several where it was just kind of like, okay, that's like I said, you need the three big ones. But like I was like looking at like what are the really weird ones nobody knows about? Like I wanted to do an artistically interpret like my vision of like these creatures that maybe people don't know of unless you live in that state. And so it started off there, and then we were like, wouldn't it be great to like we have the I'm Italian, I talk with my hands, so I'm sorry.
So did Jim Henson, by the way. But anyway,
sorry. Anyway, so yeah, so it was fun to do. Like you got your basic, little blurb, let you know who they are. I put like a map of the state. I had designed all the pages, all the books, and then I handed it off to my writer friend. I'm like with like little notes, like this is this. Make this make sense. Make these words pretty, And so we decided to do. Because we had seen as a bunch of prints. I wish I had the artist's name written down, where they had done like kaijus, like Godzilla and Mothra, but there's like little cutaway parts that show like various anatomy, and we were just like, wouldn't it be great if we did like that, but with cryptids? So it was kind of that's where like a lot of the artistic interpretation came, because I'm just kind of like, certain of these creatures are like. They're like other dimensional beings, like the Fresno Night Striders. That one that's from California. Those are just like these ghostly apparitions that are just two legs and a head that just kind of wander around Fresno, California.
Yep.
So so I was just like, okay, so I got to basically design and come up with cryptid anatomy. Like the skunk ape from Florida.
Yep.
That's another thing. I found that like a lot of cryptids fall into like maybe 4 or 5 categories. One is giant ape or Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Vengeful spirit, usually a female. That's we got
La Llorona or something like that, or
yeah, in in Alabama you got Hug and Molly. That was a deep one where I'm just like, okay, we're doing that one. That one's creepy. And there's I had to write this one down because it's from Alaska. It's Qualupalik. There we go. Qualupalik, which is like a water sprite, like vengeful spirit that will take your children into the water. And it's like an Inuit spirit. She's got the like little pet poos, like that's where she keeps the babies and takes them down. Gosh. So it's like, okay, we're doing that because that's just gonna be a lot of it was like, what's gonna be fun to draw. But like I said, like there was a lot of Sasquatches, so I didn't want we could do an entire book just called like the Sasquatches of the United States. Yep. So there's several instances where I'm like, okay, can't do another Sasquatch. What else does this state have? And that's what I'd find like some crazy ones where I'm just like that. I want to draw that. So sorry, I'm babbling. I will talk her off if not stop.
No, and so I want to do this because I got to get off to a break here in a second. You sent me some art as well.
Yes.
Is it okay if we put it up on screen?
Oh, go right ahead. Those are the examples we have on the Kickstarter.
That's perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take our first break here. Don't go anywhere, folks, because we're going to, if you're listening on the radio station, it's going to be harder for you to see these illustrations, but you can go over to GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook, and you can watch the video stream as well. And we're going to show off some of these really fun and wonderful illustrations that Chris has done. We're going to talk more about the Kickstarter. We're also going to talk about just some of these cryptids in general as well, plus any questions you have in the comments. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. You know, I have some fun news here before we get back to Chris. This Friday, I'm going to be guest hosting the Matt McNeil Show at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 3 to 5. And Adam will be joining me for that. You're still joining me for that, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
So Friday, in the first hour, I'm really excited about this. We are going to have as a guest Butch Patrick. Who a lot of you will know as Eddie Munster. We're going to have him on the program for the 3 o'clock hour. I'm really excited. Worked really hard to get him. For those who listen to the Matt McNeil Show, it's the Twin Cities take on a lot of politics and a lot of current events. But when I host the show, I try to kind of mirror it to not necessarily GhostBox, but to my own way of thinking and stuff. And I'm much more comfortable doing stuff like this. So we have Butch Patrick going to be joining us in the 3 o'clock hour on the Matt McNeil Show. At the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to have John from the Minneapolis Trolley Tours. He's going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about gilded mansions. We're going to be talking about some of these wonderful treasures in the Twin Cities, and you'll be able to see them if you take the trolley tours. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So once again, Matt McNeil Show. I'll be guest hosting that Friday from 3 to 5. Adam will be on the board with me. And then, of course, Friday night, we'll be back with GhostBox Radio Casual Friday. So a lot of fun stuff there. We have with us today, we have artist Chris Gugliotti, and we're talking about the project that he is working on. He has a Kickstarter for it, Explorer's Guide to Monstrous Cryptid Creatures. And really, I love... Chris, I love your enthusiasm for this. It just seems like you're taking it the right direction. You know?
Oh yeah, first of all, like I've stated, monsters are my jam. Anyway, I love creatures. I love anything. And first and foremost, when we started this project, I talked with the writer, and we were discussing what we want, and it just came down to, I wanted to make a book that I myself would buy. Mm-hmm. So following that basic rule, that's where I went from there. So I was 50 monsters and then 50 anatomies of monsters. I sat down, I locked in my studio, just making sure that when this Kickstarter, when it ends in I think 22 days, this book is ready to go, ready to print. We didn't want people to kickstart it and be like, well, I guess I'll see it in a year or so. It's no, we push this to. I mean, we do have some stretch goals that I would really love to get to, but I guess we could discuss that later.
Yeah, no, well, go ahead. Why
don't some of the stretch goals I want to do are the first major stretch goal that will add something to the book. It is currently at 100 and I think 12 pages or so. with various things in it. But one was I had done a bunch for advertising the Kickstarter. I'd made up like these fake Polaroids of like and I handwritten in the bottom like where they're from, like the cypress swamps of Delaware, for the Shelbyville swamp monster, and I had done a bunch of them. I'm just like, it'd be great if we added these as like a gallery, section. So that's going to be the first one. It's like a research section. But the big ones I want to get are the ones after that. Once we hit like certain goals, is where we're going to add more cryptids to it. But I found 4 more cryptids, so it'd be 8 more pages added to the book from the U.S. territories.
Wow.
So I want to do like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and Guam. So it's just I just in my head I'm just like, if this book does really well on Kickstarter, is like, let's just make this book even better. And my co-conspirator Shannon Denton is like, yeah, let's make it cool. I'm just like, yes. So
I love the fact that you're all making these Polaroids, and I think that's kind of the fun about this sort of a project, is the whole idea of, it's like, to me, it's like the old, you ever see like the old like In Search Of series with Leonard Nimoy, and
yes,
that all that shaky, blurry imagery and whatnot, and I think that's a huge part of all of this in my mind.
Yeah, and like the Polaroids, like I said, they just started as, I wanted something for the back of the book, like a graphic to add to it, like so it looked cool. So I'd done like one of the Mothman, and that was the Mothman, put handwritten on it, says Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And then my like I said, my partner Shannon, he was like, think you could do like 3 more? I'm just like, I guess. I mean, this was just a goof. And then as I started doing it, I churned out about 8 or 9 of them, and I'm just like, and he's like, yeah, okay, we only need like 3 for the back cover, but we'll use these in the Kickstarter page and all that. And then I'm just kind of like, all right, cool. Could we then, if we do good enough, could we have like a gallery section? Like I have them all like designed out, so it's on like old paper with like masking tape on them. I should have sent you an example, but and then I'll handwrite like different like little notes, like Mothman stole my sandwich or something like that.
That's great.
Dates and stuff, and just that's the stuff I love. Like, just make it like, oh, this is somebody's book they found in like an old trunk. That's I love that stuff.
I love that too, and I love the fact that too. I mean, this is the type of project that you and Shannon can do literally whatever you want with it. You're not confined by rules, really. You can have just so much fun with it, and it's just really as far as your imagination can go.
Yeah.
I got I have some of those images. I'll put up one at a time here if you want to talk to me. Is there anyone that you want to start with first, or just go with whatever?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this. Here is the Jersey Devil.
Yes, the Jersey Devil. Like, that is, the legend of the Leeds family, the 13th child was born, and it was a complicated birth. So Mrs. Leeds was like, let this one be a devil. So I wanted to, like, there's been, there's a lot of iterations of it. Most it's got the devil horns and all that, but like I was keeping it to like it's always described as having like an equine, like horse face. So I was just kind of like, okay, how can I make that scary? So I just have like this, as you can see, this kind of like just this equine skull head, and then like the bat wings and the cloven hoofs, and it was just one of those things. That's actually like the second version. I had a first version where it just wasn't it didn't like, it wasn't cool enough for me. So I redone it, and then as you can see, people watching it on the left is what I describe as this is going to be the anatomical, like rundowns and cutouts of it. So we describe, you point out cloven hooves and I was looking up all scientific terms for things.
Wow.
It's like, why put just bat wings when you could put Chiroptera wings on it?
That's what I've always said. Yeah,
exactly. And if you look down at the very bottom, that was another one. That was my idea. Well, it was the
scale.
The scale.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do a scale one. And there's some that are like Champy up in it's just huge. So like the guy's like that big, and
that's great.
It was fun to play with him, and like I did some of them I researched, like, okay, does anybody know how tall these things are? Okay, no, all right. But then it's like, for like Bigfoot and was it Tekahi, who's another Sasquatch from South Dakota that wears a top hat.
Of course, yeah.
So I was like, I'm like, how tall are they? The usual Sasquatch, height thing.
Mm-hmm.
But my partner, he kept pressing for the Yeti, and I'm like, Yeti's the Himalayas, man. And so it's like, he says, so like, we're just like, and I told him, I'm like, let's see how this one does. Then we can do I want to do the cryptids of just the British Isles.
Oh gosh.
Like,
yeah.
And Ireland, and then move into like, Europe, and then just keep going. I'd also would love to do, I forget the they're like the technical term, but like Japanese ghosts as well.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many different, like all that stuff is just fascinating to me.
Now,
so
Adam, is the Jersey Devil, isn't it your favorite?
Jersey Devil is one of my absolute favorites here of the American cryptids. I love that story.
Yeah.
The 13th, she'd had 12 boys. She wanted a girl. It's like, and then it's going to end up being another boy. I dig that one. Around the world, very similar one is the Lopazone, but it's the 7th son born of all boys. And it's supposed to be like a werewolf hybrid. So it very much leans into that same story. And which is something I wanted to ask Chris. When you were researching these as well, did you find a lot of matching folklore to go along with some of the cryptids that were almost exactly alike?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like I was talking about, like how I kind of split them into categories. It's because there's always that local folklore of like a werewolf, a lost soul, just like the Sasquatch, and it's just amazing to see how like it's all intertwined with around the world. Like it's a
lot of regional, isn't it too? Because you got people who are calling the same thing different things because we're not connected.
Yeah, like the Shelbyville swamp monster, it's kind of on the borders of Maryland and Delaware. There was a lot of there's a lot of crossover, especially with Bigfoot. Like Bigfoot, we gave him Washington, but he has been known to stray into Oregon and all these territories, and all the Pacific Northwest, in the big forest in the Pacific Northwest. So it was tough to be like, okay, well, like the chupacabra.
Oh yeah.
Like I put that in Texas.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking, like, if I do Puerto Rico, the chupacabra is big there too, but like it was in Texas first. So I'm like, okay, I think I chose right. But there's a lot of like skinwalkers. You got Skinwalker Ranch. So that's kind of, some of them are very specific, while some of them are kind of, they are in like, it's almost like they're in two places at once.
But you're putting them where they're most popular so that you can even it out across the country.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like I said, like it's like we could have done an entire book full of Sasquatches.
And maybe someday you should. Here, I want to move on to Mothman. Okay. Here's Mothman.
Okay, Mothman has got to be like my favorite. I think it's everybody's like first step into the cryptids. I love the book, The Mothman Chronicles, and to a lesser extent the Richard Gere movie. But if we were doing a book of cryptids, the Mothman is like the Batman. You need to have him in there. So it was fun to like come up with my own version of the Mothman. And like I said, he was actually in the project we were doing before. In it, we had like it was almost like Pokemon levels of evolution. So I got to do like, this is like basic Mothman, and then there's middle Mothman, and then like super Mothman. And I'd love to. I would love to have shared those drawings, but that's another project that I can't show things for. But
no, that makes sense.
So like with the Mothman, it was like, okay, what do I? He's kind of an otherworldly interdimensional being. So it's like, okay, let me think of like what's on the inside of the Mothman. So of course, play with the skull. We mentioned the antennas. I gave him like thin bird bones.
Yep.
And And then I wanted to give him like kind of a weird like multi-chambered nebulous heart, something that like even if you it like moves around and you can't really kill the Mothman, because
I love the fact that based on the size of Mothman versus the human, Mothman could just wrap itself around that human, like give him a big, serious, a final hug, and
a final hug, not like an encouraging hug, like
not you're doing all right. Yeah, no, not that.
It's okay. Mothman's here. You're gonna be okay.
And not to be confused with Mothra. That's a whole other different thing going on. But I love this. This is great. This is really cool looking.
Thanks, man. Yeah, a lot of love went into this.
It's very clear. I want to get to because a couple minutes we need to hit our next break, but I want to get to then
this one, the Hodag, man, this guy from Wisconsin, he's got like t-shirts, souvenirs. This guy is really big in Wisconsin. So like I had to do this one. And this was I mean, there's a lot of, I'm tooting my own horn, but there's a lot of really good art in this. But this one was the one where I'm like, now I want a t-shirt of this guy.
This is beautiful. This is absolutely gorgeous.
But like, I mean, the way I, it's my version of it, but like that is how there's a statue of him in Wisconsin. I forget somewhere, but it's like this glorious like statue of this, of the Hodag. And you're just like, that's so cool. Like me and a buddy, he was moving to Arizona, so I went across country with him to help him move, and we were stopping at all the places. I'm like, I want to see this. I want to see this. We did Area 51. Oh yeah. It's just like this stuff is my jam. Yep. So to be able to be like to just like take my brain and vomit it into a book and be like, look at this. Yep. It's been just such a great experience, especially partnering up with my buddy Eric Shannon.
Yeah, and this art's too good for Wisconsin. I'm just kidding. Come on.
Thank you.
But it is. Why don't we do this? I want to get in this next break here. When we come back for our final segment, I want to just talk cryptids. I want to talk, Chris. I want to talk where you're at with what you believe. I want your opinion on stuff. Anyone who has questions, feel free to put them into the comments. This is such a fun conversation. Before we head off to break, though, is there an easy way to get to your Kickstarter page? Chuck was kind enough to put it into the comments. I'm going to put it into my stuff after the show. But I do, if they go to Kickstarter, because these links always seem to be pretty long, can they just like look up your name or something?
They should be able to look up Monster Forge Productions. They're that's who I'm working with on it, and we have gotten the Kickstarter Projects We Love stamp of approval from Kickstarter, so it should be on the homepage.
Nice.
But the easiest way, I guess, would be to type in Monster Forge,
2 words,
and Monster Forge Productions, and you should be able to find it. If not, just go to my Facebook page, Art of Chris Gugliotti, or my Instagram at Chris Gugliotti, where it's the link is in my bio.
We're gonna make sure we're putting on everything that we share out as well. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo comes to the Alliant Energy Center August 9th and 10th. Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for all the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo, also known as MadX, is going to be huge, with guests like Walter Jones from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, legendary wrestler Sting, plus other great guests from voice actors, authors, and artists all over the entire weekend. 2 days of action-packed fun at the Alliant Energy Center. Tickets start at $53. Kids tickets are just $9.99 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at MadisonComicExpo.com. MadX is Wisconsin's biggest Comic-Con, and don't forget Twin Cities Con is coming up in November. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to TwinCitiesCon.com for more information.
What if one day could open your heart, spark your spirit, and connect you to your most authentic self? That day is Saturday, August 23rd from 10 to 6 at the Litz Rock Shops Woo Woo Festival at the Taylors Falls Memorial Community Center, located at 312 Government Street in Taylors Falls. Explore tarot, oracle, psychic, and mediumship readings. Listen to inspiring speakers covering fascinating metaphysical topics. Soak in the calm tones of live hand pan music. Shop handcrafted goods, crystals, metaphysical tools, books, and more. It's just $5 cash at the door as a free will offering. And remember, Taylors Falls is a destination. Come out for the festival and stay to explore the natural beauty, historic charm, and energy of this incredible town. And yes, there will be walking tacos.
The Let's Rock Shops Woo Woo Festival, Saturday, August 23rd from 10 to 6 at 312 Government Street, Taylors Falls Memorial Community Center. Just $5 at the door. Come for the woo, stay for the wonder, and the walking tacos. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to have our conversation with Anthony F. Sanchez. He wrote the book UFO Nexus, A Journey into Alien Realms and Cosmic Secrets. It's a fantastic conversation. This is a replay that we did back in December of 2023. But as I talked to him about the fact they're going to replay it, he's like, Greg, I have a book that you're just going to go crazy for. Your listeners are just going to love. And he said it centers around, and he gave me a date. And that date just so happened to be Roswell in 1947. And I think I don't know what the book is. I don't know if that's just tangential or if there's something more to it, but it's going to be great. We're going to have him on sometime in the next couple months, but you can listen to that conversation tomorrow. Then, of course, Friday is Casual Friday. And I also just want to let people know, please consider joining my Patreon. It starts as low as $3 a month. We just put up today an early release of an episode that's going to air soon called, was going to have guest Diana Stamfer on there. And she wrote the book, Death and Lighthouses on the Great Lakes, A History of Murder and Misfortune. A fantastic interview today. It's out there early. Please come out. Helping us by supporting us on Patreon really helps with the program. Would really appreciate it. I'm having so much fun today talking with artist Chris Gugliotti. We're talking about his Kickstarter project, Explorer's Guide to Monstrous Cryptid Creatures. When you go to Kickstarter, there's just a lot there to take a look at and see more of his drawings and stuff. You can see the cover of Explorer's Guide to Monstrous Cryptid Creatures of the United States. This is really, really very cool. You're going to enjoy this. Please go check it out. I'll make sure the link is everywhere. Chris, though, I want to ask you, where do you stand on all this stuff? Or do you just find it really cool and like a good muse for you to be creative? Or do you, oh my gosh, that's the biggest cryptid I've ever seen.
It's my own chupacabra.
This is like, who owns who? That's the question. I mean, I got a cat, and
sometimes I don't know.
It's not me, that's for sure. I do not run this household. That's for sure. Where do you stand with your belief system on these, if you don't mind sharing?
I mean, I am very open-minded. I believe that there are things out there we have not discovered yet, or so mainly because I really want it to be, because otherwise it's kind of boring. It's but you look back at remember the coelacanth, the fish that everybody thought was it was extinct.
Yeah,
and then they found one, and when I was a younger kid, I was like, oh my god, they found one. And then I have always been a fan of the Loch Ness Monster, and I created a joke tier for the Kickstarter that the stretch goals, it's an insane amount. But all it is Chris swims in Loch Ness. And so I read to my partners in this Kickstarter, and they laughed. And I said, listen, if this happens, I will. And then a buddy of mine, I told him about it, sent me this Google question. He's like, yes, you can. It is not illegal to swim in Loch Ness. It is, however, very cold. I'm like, I'll do it.
I'll be honest. Out of everything out there, Loch Ness is probably one of the only ones I do not believe.
Oh, yeah, there's been a lot of like recently, a lot of like, oh, like I believe they debunked that photo, but like,
Yeah.
that's the one like I want to be real so bad.
Yeah.
Just because like I was one of those kids that like I mean I still am, like I will see every Jurassic Park movie no matter how bad it is because the dinosaurs are always good. I was that dinosaur kid, you know.
I don't like seeing them anymore because I'm afraid the dinosaur is going to get hurt in the movies. And I'm not even kidding. It's like I don't want to see a dinosaur, even if it's CG. I don't want to see it in pain. I'm that much of a sad sack for animals that I'm just a softy over. I know, right? Come on. And I'm just like, you know, and that's what they like to do in these films, and I think they should be investigated for it. No, okay.
Yeah, but it's always like the dinosaurs get hurt in the beginning, and then they get their revenge at the end. There's always that one guy that's like, "Hey, it's just a dinosaur. Look, I'm poking it with a stick," and then
then a velociraptor rips its face off, right? Yeah,
just gets eviscerated at the end. It's like, "Oh, we're almost at the helicopter."
You know what's interesting, and I'm trying to remember who it was I was talking to about this, because you had brought up the fact, like, you know, you hear about these species and then maybe sometime they get found, but there's also that other side to it, where there's reports in old papers about some sort of creature that they see, and then, you know, and this, when I say papers, like going back to like early 1900s, late 1800s, and then like all information in that area about it just stops, even to this day.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, is that because, and it might have been Chad Lewis I was talking to about this, I wondered if it was because that was a real thing, maybe not a species, but maybe like a one-off or something, or some sort of
something,
and,
some kind
and
of,
it dies. It just dies. You know, it doesn't live forever, and it's like we don't see it anymore. It's now more of a myth, lore, legend, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, you know, evolution sometimes takes, you know, some weird turns, and
totally.
You know, sometimes some things are here for a minute amount of time, but make a big impact, and then they're gone. So it's like, you know, I'd like to think that, yeah, there's this stuff out there we just haven't discovered yet, you know?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's the fun thing. And, you know, I'm sure you have too. You know, you run into some people who are just like, nope, impossible, absolutely not. And it's like, oh, I feel bad for you, because you clearly don't have any sort of imagination.
You have an utter lack of whimsy. Those that's what I say to those people. It's just like, you know, you just yeah, no imagination. Just need a good boost of whimsy in your life. You know, you'd enjoy yourself more. All right, take yourself less seriously and embrace some weird stuff. You know,
and it doesn't cost anything to you know, entertain the idea that it exists.
Well, it's the best with like when you're a little kid, man. You're just like, you know, oh wow, really? Yeah, Bigfoot, okay. And then, you know, you get older and people are like, there's no Bigfoot, and it's just like, oh, okay, all right. But it's like, no, keep that whimsy, keep that spark.
And as a kid, you know, you'd be worried about that monster in the closet or monster in the basement. But even though you're worried about it, you're kind of excited by it too. You know, I mean, granted, I've known people who've had horrible childhood because of spirits and stuff, you know, attacking them at night. But, you know, for us who just have healthy imaginations, that's kind of the fun about it too, is like, what is that downstairs? You know, it's scary. I don't understand, but yet I'm drawn to go down and see, you know.
Oh, what it is? It was like it was a line in one of Thomas Harris's books. What is it? I think it was The Red Dragon, where he talks about like he was cursed with imagination. Like, you know, where it's just like, yeah, you've got this great sense of like, oh, I can imagine things, and it's like you can also imagine horrible things, and you're just like, but you know, you just rein it in. You keep yourself centered. You're good. Imagination will take you a lot of places.
Have you ever thought about, and maybe you have done so already, creating your own cryptid? Like this is Chris's idea of something that could be classified as a cryptid, and create a whole backstory for it or something.
Oh, it was we had done it, like this is for, like the original project we had done, we were doing cryptids here and there. Then I wanted to take Shannon, Eric Denton, who's also a big writer and editor over at DC Wildstorm, and he's worked on several. He's got his hand in everything. I just want to give him his kudos. Awesome guy, great collaborator. But I had done cryptid versions of us. So he was, his last name's Denton, so he's the Dentonville lunatic. And then I became the Googberry swamp rat. And so when we were deciding, like, for the tiers of, like, not the reward tiers, the stuff you can get, you can kickstart this comes with a book, this comes with this and this and this and this. And so the last one, I was just like, I was just like, I'll do it. I don't care. If you support at this level, I will turn you into a cryptid. So that's something I have always, like, I do the monster adoption agency where I do watercolor paintings of monsters, and like most of the time I just sit down with like watercolor paper, like 5 or 6 sheets all at once, and then I just start drawing. I just, nothing pre-planned. I'm like, okay, this is what this is going to happen. And then I kind of paint in a circle because watercolor needs to dry. So, like, I don't know how many times my mother has said, like, I don't know where you come up with these things, but, God bless you. You found some kind of career with it. But no, yeah, I'd love to come up with, like, my own, like, cryptid with, like, lore and all sorts of things.
You could easily create some, especially with Shannon or whomever else, like some kind of graphic novel or something out of it, and just, I mean, really, with, like you said, that backstory, and really just and put some great scares in it. I mean, how cool is that? And it's just like, we eat that stuff up, we love that stuff. We
oh, yeah.
It's like, and new stuff gets created all the time. There's, I don't know if you ever heard of the Rake.
No,
it's like a bulldog sort of like amalgamation of something else, and people, the belief with the Rake is that it because so many people thought of this creature, it came into being, which is kind of a fun concept in its own.
I mean, yeah, what is that concept called? Where
there's
it's like,
a certain name to it.
If enough people like that, and that's kind of like how some people explain why some of these otherworldly creatures even exist. It's because if enough people believe in it. I wish I had that term.
Adam, do you know that term at all?
I'm actually trying to Google it right now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because it literally is like you're willing it into existence, and the Rake is said to be one of them, and it's a very frightening creature. And I mean, what a great start to a story of any kind.
Also, I'm also recently with like the Slender Man.
Oh yeah, that's another one. That's
another one. It's
yeah.
like a new one, And
it's kind of like crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
On an imagination level.
It is, yeah, and the internet made it real,
As exactly, yeah. And I like to believe that and I'm a child that grew up watching reruns of Walt Disney's Disneyland, and it's like, so I have that whimsy, I have that desire that I want people to be able to create horrible creatures out of their minds and making it real, because that shows that we are in a creative world. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I do. It's a show in the Northeast called KidsCon. They do one in New Hampshire in the spring, and one coming up in November up in Maine. And I do monster workshops, like where I teach kids how to just create a monster. I just tell them, just start with a shape. And I say, and I tell them, like, there's no wrong answer here. I'm not looking, like, I'm drawing this on this board. You don't have to draw what I'm drawing. Just follow along and create. And like, it was such a thrill to have like these 5-year-olds be like, look at my monster. And I'd be like, yeah, all right, you're good. Never lose that. Never let keep that. But yeah, like, it's yeah. Like I said, don't lose the whimsy.
Don't lose the whimsy. Do you have a shirt that says that? Don't lose the whimsy.
Don't lose the whimsy, because the world is boring and dark enough right now. It's just, don't lose the whimsy. That is the light. That is the light that'll keep you going.
It's just like I said, it doesn't cost you anything to believe it. Just it doesn't mean you have to. And you don't have to believe in everything, but just, I always say, just be open to the concept. When I talk to people, I talk to a lot of people about this stuff and talk about aliens, and they're like, it's impossible because of the size of the blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, all right, talk to you later. I literally am like, I'm done with you.
You know what? I've had that same conversation with a friend of mine who runs a comic shop, and he's in like his 60s, and he's a big sci-fi, Star Trek, all this stuff, and he's always, but man, he is so like, there's no aliens. If they are, they can't get here, and he just runs down this scientific explanation. Yep. But then I'm always just like, but what if they can? It's like, there's stuff out there we have no idea. So it's just like, what if they can?
Just remember the old days when we used to think that the sun revolved around us. It's one of those things that we evolve, we learn stuff, and the stuff that seemed impossible sometimes shows that it's not impossible as well. Chris, we're wrapping up here. We're running out of time.
Once again, it's been a blast.
This has been a blast too. I thank you. I want to once again urge our listeners, and I'm going to put this everywhere when I share. I'm going to share out clips and stuff tomorrow. Check out Chris's and Shannon's Kickstarter page, and please support, because if you like this stuff, I think you're going to be enjoying some really high quality stuff here pretty soon. So.
Yeah, if I must say, we had made initial funding within 48 hours. So right now, like, this book is being made. So if you support it, you're getting it. But the more support we get, the juicier the book will get. So I really want to hit some of the next stretch goals, because those are the ones that are going to add to the book with the Polaroid Research Library gallery section, and then the cryptids of the U.S. territories. I really want to get to that. I just want to make the best book possible.
Yeah, you can see that Chris is ready to go. Folks, go check it out. I'll put the links out tomorrow. We have Anthony F. Sanchez. Everyone, have a fantastic night.
I'm standing up for the middle.